Hi, I'm Leslie Light, and this is my 2024 year review of Webtoons, where I go over all the Webtoons that I loved reading in 2024. And most of them are gonna be, actually not most of them, all of them are gonna be on the Webtoon app, which is free. So if you like what I'm talking about, you could just go over there right now, download the Webtoon app, and read it. Hey. Alright, so the first Webtoon I'm gonna go over is My Reason to Die. This Webtoon, oh my gosh. First of all, it had me, I don't know. First of all, the ending had me bawling. Like, I was bawling my eyes out. First of all, I was reading it at work just to pass some time, and I was crying so much. It is so good. But even like the beginning is just like, to see the connection between the main characters, like you feel that tension between them where they both like each other, but they know they're not really supposed to be together. Like, there's something about it, like this attraction. So the main characters are Gyo, who is this guy right here, and then Geo. And as you see, they're both drawn really hot, whatever. They meet in high school, whatnot. And they, basically Geo is this star athlete. Like, she does judo, and everybody has high hopes for her. They're like, you're gonna be an Olympic athlete. And she's kind of like a star student, right? And then Geo, he has piercings in his face. Not Gyo. Gyo has piercings in his face, and he is kind of considered like a delinquent and whatnot. And even though he's considered a delinquent, he's actually a good guy. He kind of keeps the other delinquents like in line or whatever. But he's connected to this guy who is bullying Gio's little brother. And he pretty much gets that guy to stop bullying the little brother, and he intervenes and like helps him out. And the bully is just like, what is your connection with the brother? Like, why are you going out of your way and whatnot? And he kind of like learns about the relationship between them. And he's just like, oh, so this is why you like this girl and you're doing all this stuff. And basically, like, something happens where the bully kind of confronts her, Geo, and they always tell her, like, don't use your judo moves against like regular people, like you could harm them and everything. And she ends up like kind of kicking this guy, the bully, and then he bleeds, or like he possibly dies, but like he gets injured pretty badly. And then Gil takes the blame for her, and he's just like, okay, we're just gonna make it seem like I did it because I don't want you to get in trouble, and we have to like part ways and whatnot. And Gio, like, she has a strong sense of justice, and she doesn't want to be the one to get him in trouble. She's like, I'm gonna take responsibility for this. And he's just like, no, I'll take the fall for it because you have a bright future ahead of you, where it's like, I don't really have that. And so he takes the fall, and then he kind of like disappears from her life. And then it flashes forward, it fast forwards like to the future, and they're a lot older. She's an Olympic star, whatever. She wins like some medals in the Olympics, and she's like famous and does different ads and whatnot. But she still keeps thinking about Gyo, and she's like, I can't stop thinking about this guy. She kind of dreams about him sometimes too. She has these weird dreams where like they're both cops together. And she's like, what are these dreams? And like, even though she dates other people, she just can't shake the thought of him, even though it's been so many years. So then she sees this woman in need, and like I said, she has a strong sense of justice. So she goes to help this lady, and it turns out the lady is a reporter, and she's reporting on these gangsters. And when Gio tries to follow the guy that tries to mug the reporter, she ends up running into Gil again. And they kind of reconnect and everything. And I don't know. I'm pretty much gonna spoil the ending for y'all if y'all are watching. Like, honestly, I'm gonna spoil a lot of these webtoons. So if you don't want me to spoil them, then you can probably click out right now or change the subject. But if you don't mind me spoiling them, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil these. Because some of them are already complete. So you can read them on the Webtoons app and they're complete. Like, My Reason to Die is complete. I finished it last year. So I finished it in 2024. So basically, they get connected again, and he's just like, okay, now that I have you, I don't want to like let you go. And he's like possessive and protective of her, which I love. Like, ooh, like I love a guy in like webtoons or anime and whatnot where they're like possessive over the girl that they're like, and they're really into them. Like, there is no doubt, like, okay, this is the girl for me, and they make that known. I like to, in fact, I came up with a little acronym. I'm gonna call it POP, which is protective, obsessive, and possessive. Okay, possessive. So he got that pop about him, you know what I'm saying? And he pretty much just like, he doesn't want her around. Like, it's like this childhood friend that she had that clearly had a crush on her, and he's just like, who's this guy? Like, very protective over her, doesn't want anything to happen to her. And then, like, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil the ending. Basically, she was having all these dreams and all of this. The reason why it's called My Reason to Die, like, she was having these dreams, and in the dream, like I said, they were both cops, and I think he died. One of them died in the story, like, as a cop or whatever, and he kept seeing these visions as she was hanging out with him. And it turns out that the reason they have a strong connection to each other, the reason why Gil and Gio have such a strong connection to each other is because they have lived many lives together. And so Gio, she can never remember what's going on. She doesn't remember her past lives, but Gio does. So he is literally, the reason why he's separated from her in high school is because he doesn't want her to die, because in every life, like, one of them dies. And it's called My Reason to Die because if she dies and he fails to protect her and, like, she dies, he usually always, oh, this is gonna be kind of explicit, he kind of like, he ends his own life, like, because he was just like, well, I couldn't protect you, so he ends it, and they start over again, and they start over to when they, like, were in high school and they're on the bus and whatnot. And yeah, but the reason that was so sad to me is because once we find this out and once Gio realizes everything, she's just like, well, I'm not gonna let this happen to you, and, like, things come to a head, and she pretty much remembers that he, like, she remembers that he would end his life for her if she died. And so she told him, don't do that, because she pretty much said, like, I remember my lives, and she was saying, honestly, the times that you died, like, I've gone and lived my life, like, lived it all the way to the end until I had old age, until I naturally died. And she was like, it was nice, it was really hard to get over you or whatnot, but eventually I lived my life, I met more people and all these other things. And so, and he never does that. So that's why they keep going around in this circle, because he never just lives his life. So she, like, stuff comes ahead in the webtoon, and basically she ends up dying again. But she tells him, don't end it this time. I want you to live your life. Like, I love you. I want you to live your life. So he literally, because it's always like a tragic ending. Like, one of them always dies. So she's like, this time if I die, like, live your life. So he lives his life. This time he's just like, he lives his life. He misses her. He's just grieving the whole time. And we see him when he gets older. He's just like, okay, I did it. I lived my life. And then when he naturalized, he wakes up and once again is back in the past. He's just like, nothing has changed. And then, like, I think once he does that, I think it breaks the cycle. So, like, when she comes back at the bus stop and whatnot, he's just like, where is she? Like, I'm waiting for her at the bus stop, and she comes, and she actually remembers him, and she was just like, I was afraid you weren't gonna remember me. He was like, of course I will remember you, and it's just so cute. Like, oh my god, I kind of want to, like, cry thinking about it, but, like, it's just so cute. That's My Reason to Die. It is so cute. The art is really good. Gyo's hot, okay? Gyo, be warned. He is very hot. I think there's, like, some scenes where he has his shirt off and he has his tattoo. Gyo's hot. Very hot. I recommend it, okay? Well, yeah. Alright. The next webtoon that we're gonna get into is one-of-a-kind romance. So, one-of-a-kind romance is between Yuil, the main lead, and Mui. So Yuil is an aspiring writer, and she used to write fan fictions. She had this book that was like a fan fiction based off of one of her favorite bands, which was the Monkey Boys. And then you have Mui, who is a top actor, a star. Everybody knows him, household name and whatnot. And the way these two connect, like, this story had a lot of different twists within it. I'm probably gonna spoil some things once again, but I'll try my best not to spoil everything. But basically, for Mui, he has a stalker because he's so popular. So he has a stalker and they keep leaving food at his door. They know where he lives and whatnot. And then how he comes across Yul is her friend works in production, and they're like, we need a location to film. Can we use your roof? Or I think she has a roof apartment, so they're like, can we use your apartment to film? So she agrees to it because she needs extra money. Like, all she does is part-time jobs and whatnot, and you can tell she's kind of struggling financially. And they agree to do it, and then that's where she meets him, and he notices he's been looking for this book, which is the fan fiction book that she has written, and she is actually his favorite writer because they both like Monkey Boys. And he used to read her book, and he can't find the last book. So, like, when they're in her room and they're talking a bit, he realizes, wait, you have the last book. I've been looking for this book. And then he discovers that she is his favorite author, his favorite writer. So then he's just like, he just admires her so much. He's like, oh my gosh, it's you, and stuff. And they begin to get a close connection and whatnot. And the thing is, like, because he's an actor, but he's not one of her favorite, like, actors. Like, she actually has a bias of this, like, boy band group. Not the Monkey Boys, but it's, like, a current boy group. And, like, the reason she agrees to let them film is because her crush or bias is filming with Mui. So they're both filming something together. It's like something that has both of them. Has Mui, the actor, and also has like this musician, this boy band guy. And so that's why she agrees to let them film, because she's just like, ooh, I might get to meet him, and she's excited. So she's in awe of like the boy band guy. This is what makes him nervous. And then Mui is just like, oh, I really like you, but she don't really care about Mui. She's not like a big fan of his. She's like, I'm not your fan, so it's whatever. But they kind of naturally start getting together as friends and become friends. And eventually he invites her to be his, I guess, one of his managers and whatnot, because his other manager is having troubles at home. Like, he's taking care of his mom and whatnot. So Mui asks Yul, can you fill in for him? And you can tell the love of them like starts to grow, and it's just really good. But yeah, when I say there's a lot of twists in this, there's so many that I'm just like, I will have to literally explain the whole webtoon to talk about all of these twists. But yeah, this is just a really cute, wholesome thing. It shows how scary it can be to be an actor, because like I said, he literally has stalkers, and I think they catch one of them. They catch one of them, and because she was like stealing clothes from him on set, and it was strange. It was very weird. And also, like, he kind of uncovers some trauma too, like childhood trauma, that he couldn't remember a lot of his memories and whatnot because something happened. Like, there's so many twists with this. And then also she has they both have like so many traumatic events happening in their lives that goes on. So it was amazing how they connected, because like I said, like, she used to be his favorite author, but when she was writing like in high school. Like, those books she made were in high school, okay? And she has issues at home too, where it's like her parents don't really support her writing career, and then her dad is terrible. He's a scumbag, and I guess I'll tell y'all this, but basically, when she was in high school, she had this favorite teacher who promoted her writing, who really loved her writing. It was just like, you could win awards with your writing and go so far with your writing. And it turned out that her dad was cheating on her mom with her teacher. And so that kind of like messed up her whole thing when it came to writing, because she was just like, I don't know if I can write anymore. Like, it traumatized her. So honestly, both of them overcome so much in this webtoon, and they still find a way to like get their love together. And it really is a one-of-a-kind romance. Haha. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one as well. Yeah, it's just so cute, because they're just like, yeah, I'm an actor, but I only have eyes for you. You know, he's like really popular, because so it comes to some things come into the picture, like maybe her insecurity with like dating actor, and just even how it's hard being an actor, where it's like, if you interact with anybody, people are like, oh, are you dating this person? And so they overcome so much. I recommend it. It's good. Alright, the next webtoon is 30 Minutes with You. So This one is so cute. This one's actually very adorable. So 30 Minutes with You is about Sangam and Gubong. Sangam is a people pleaser. Okay, we're gonna sum it up for her. She's a people pleaser. Okay, she basically is someone that tries her best to get along with people, but she doesn't really let people in. So she kind of, she people pleases everybody. And then you have Gubong, and he is someone who's really shy, doesn't really talk to a lot of people. He wears a hat, so he kind of like hides his face a lot, or he doesn't say anything. And these two meet because they both attend the same, same classes? Like afternoon classes, night classes. So, when they walk home, like, Sangam's always like, oh, I kind of walk home by myself because two of her best friends, like, they're not dating, but like two of her best friends, they pretty much are childhood friends. They've known each other forever. Their parents knew each other and they always go home together. And then Sangam always goes home by herself. But then she realizes that, oh, Gumon walks in the same direction as me. So they kind of like start to walk home a little bit together. And as they walk home together, they slowly start having conversations, and they do this. She kind of catches Gumon doing this thing with the moon where he like is looking at the moon like this, and he's just like, oh, you gotta make a wish. And she's just like, oh, I know this thing too. And it's interesting because nobody really knows about this but those two. So I'm like, why do they know about this? Like, nobody else knows what they're talking about, but they both grew up doing that. And once again, this is a spoiler. Actually, I'm not gonna say the spoiler yet. But anyways, this webtoon pretty much follows their relationship from high school to college and whatnot. And then they also bond over their love of art or love over these characters. So Sangam likes this webtoon and it has this like wolf and chick. I think it's called Wolf and Chick actually. And then she knows this like Gubong has like certain characters with Wolf and Chick. She's like, oh, I love that webtoon, blah blah blah. And like I said, they start to slowly like start connecting and whatnot. And it's cute. There's a lot of drama. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of drama in this because it's apparently like Sangam wanted to be an aspiring artist, but her mother didn't support it. And she was just like, you need to focus on your studies because with doing art, like if you fail or you can't win awards or whatnot, like what are you going to do? You need backup plan. You need to study hard and focus on your studies instead of drawing. And then, with Gumon, like he's really good at drawing. So they both have this love for art. And also the mom, it's also like a thing too where her mom and her dad, they're going through divorce, but they don't tell her that they're going through divorce. So like to her knowledge, she's just like, oh, mom and dad are always busy working, or like dad is away on a business trip and whatnot. And then when she comes home from school, every time she comes home, there's always an empty apartment. There are no lights. There's nobody ever waiting on her. And so she has a whole thing too and that's why she wants she's kind of like a people pleaser because she's just like, well, I don't want to disappoint people. Like I really don't have, I feel like she kind of lacks the family bonding or that familial support. And then also she used to go to an art school. Like, I guess this is a cram school, but she used to go to like a academy that focused on art, and people were jealous of her and they started to bully her. And she had this girl that was a good friend of hers, and they were good friends, but then something happened with them and there was like a bully that kind of separated them both. So it is a lot of drama. Actually, like thinking about it, there's so much drama in this webtoon. But despite the drama, these two are the most adorable couple. Like Gubong, he is always very supportive of Sangam, and like even when there are misunderstandings, like he always tries his best to explain the misunderstandings, and they communicate really well. I adored this one. I remember like reading it and I kind of like fell off of it, and then I came back to it and everything was mostly complete or was like near completion. And I was just binging through it and I was like, this is the cutest thing ever. Even when they go to college together, it's cute. You can tell like their relationship just gets stronger. And I guess I'll spoil this part, but the reason they both have like, they know about this little moon thing and stuff, or like looking at the moon through their eye, the little, I don't know, I'm making a wish, is because apparently their parents went to school together. So like Sangham's mom is hard on her about an artistic career because she used to want to be a writer and she couldn't make it. And so she was just like, I don't want you to be disappointed as I was. And Sangham has to stand up to her and grow a backbone and be like, you know what, this is my life. So even though you don't want this for me, this is the life that I choose. And stuff, right? And like Gubong's mom actually liked the story that Sangham's mom made, and she drew like an illustration for it. And I think in the story there's something about the moon, and that's why they do that. And so that's why they both know of it. So it's just funny because when their parents meet, they're just like, what? She's like, I used to love your work. Like, oh my God. And it's just so cute. So it's like their families are already like good and connected to each other in some way. And it's just a pure story, really. Like, it's good. So I definitely recommend that one as well. Now we're going to move on to Sisters at War. Okay? Sisters at War. There's so much drama. There is so much drama in this webtoon, okay? Also, Sisters at War is made by Mangeki. And I like Mangeki's work. They did My ID is Gundam Beauty. They also did another webtoon I'm gonna talk about later. I worked on that, but yeah, I love Mangeki and their works. This right here, Sisters at War, it's so much drama. Okay, so it's called Sisters at War because you see these two girls right here. It's like Hera and Leon. So Hera and Leon, they go to the same school, they go to the same art school, whatnot, and they've always kind of competed with each other. But then it turns out that Hera is the long lost daughter of Leon's mom. Leon is the adopted daughter of a famous sculptor, famous artist, and Hera and Leon both have looked up to her, this artist and whatnot. And so the artist originally lost her daughter when she was really young and she didn't know where she was, and through a project at school she sees Hera's work and she's just like, who did this? And then she meets her and then she realizes like, you are my long lost daughter, because she has a mole on her left hand, the same that her daughter had, and they literally look alike. So then she's just like, okay, you're my real daughter. And then Leon is the blonde girl. Literally, this artist is the mom is out of her mind, okay? The mom lost her daughter and then she raised Leon. She adopted Leon and she literally sculpted her. When I say sculpted her, I mean she literally shoved art down her throat and said, you're gonna be an artist. You need to practice so you can become as good as me. She was, I guess Leon originally was right-handed and she was like, what are you doing? My daughter was left-handed, so she forces her to make art with her left hand or like use her left hand as her dominant hand. Like she had to learn to do all these things so she could replace her original child. So, and this is still ongoing and it is so good. But like once she realizes that her missing daughter is Hera, who has the black hair, she is like, okay, great. She takes them both in, obviously. She keeps Leon. She's like, you're my adopted daughter, so I'll raise you. Like, I'm not gonna kick you out or anything. But like, she basically pits them against each other. And she's just like, you guys have this assignment. Make it work. Like, and she's just like, whoever wins is gonna be considered my masterpiece, who I will present to the world as my masterpiece, and they will be the one that gets to work with me to create something amazing. And so she has them going through all these different things, like to further their art and make them better. And honestly, this one I won't spoil because it's recently happened. Like I said, it's ongoing. But oh, the twist that happened, I was just like, are you kidding me? So yeah, this one too is so good. There's so much drama. Like, it's just so toxic. Like, the mother is so toxic. All of these people need therapy immediately. Like, they need therapy. I'm just like, they all need help. They are obsessed about their art. They're like, I'm gonna be the greatest. And they're like, no, I'm gonna defeat you. And they do like underhanded tricks and things. I think somebody steals, like Hera has a crush on somebody, and then Leon's just like, well, I'm gonna take him for myself and make him my boyfriend. Like, it's just like, it's so much awful art. And the thing is, the reason I like that is because it's really because of the mama. It's the mom. The mom does that. And the reason the mom is like that is because she was in competition with her father, their grandfather. And like, the whole thing is just like, he was like, I'm gonna, like the grandfather was like, he was a famous artist. And he was like, I am going to make a creation that is so good that it can be seen as like living or something. Like, I want to make living art. Like, he kind of like chases, it's kind of like the whole thing with the Icarus chasing the sun and whatnot. And he like, you know, he was just like obsessed with art, and he was like super hard on his daughter, who was their mother. And he's just like, you won't amount to anything, you won't be as great as me, like your art is terrible, all this other stuff. And so she's just like, I can do something. The mom's just like, I can do something that you'll never be able to do. You'll never be able to make a masterpiece like me. And you know what she does? She falls in love. And she's just like, oh, I know. She was like, I can actually create living art. And she has a baby. And the whole point of her having this baby is to mold them into a masterpiece. Because she's just like, I have made a living person who was a masterpiece that has all of these skills and whatnot. You are a man. You could never create a living work of art. You could never create. And it's just like, it's so good. Because even, bruh, the grandfather, he passes away. But before he passes away, oh, he does something. He's just like, oh, you're gonna make a living art? I'm gonna show you. Diabolical. These people are diabolical, okay? They all scheme and do whatever it takes because they're just like, I want to be a god. I want to be known as a god. Like, for art. Love it. This webtoon it's intense. It's very intense. It's like, every time I'm like, what? Very good. Love it. I recommend it. Yeah. Now we're gonna get into seasons of Lovesome. So, when this webtoon came out, I was really excited because it is a sequel to Seasons of Blossom. Seasons of Blossom. And it's by the same creator, same art style, literally same characters. They're just in college now. So in Seasons of Blossom, they were in high school. This time they're in college. And I love Seasons of Blossom. So the art and everything, the art, the story, there's so many deep concepts and themes in it. Like, we have mentions of, there's talks of grief, there's talks of bullying, there's talks of, it's kind of a lot of dark topics. But it's still, the stories are told beautifully and they're all interconnected. So when I saw Seasons of Lovesome, I was like, there's more. Like, I was just so happy to see that there's more. This one is ongoing. There's only about 20 episodes out right now, or 20 chapters. I'm just excited for it, to be honest. Like, oh, look at them. Oh, sorry, I just like, I don't know, that like Seasons of Blossom made me cry a lot, but like Seasons of Blossom, there's still some themes to, like, I'm thinking for one of the couples, because they're like people. There's different people, like I said, there's people from the old story in it, and you're seeing how they connected and whatnot. And like, there was one guy from the previous story, like he used to be bullied and whatnot, and he's now like dating a good girl, or they started dating. Oh, I guess I'm spoiling stuff. Anyway, he's now dating, and he was just like, I think they passed somebody that kind of looked like one of his bullies, and he kind of flinched and whatnot, and he was just like, sorry, I'm supposed to be the one protecting you. And she's like, that's okay, I'll protect you. So she's like, I know what you went through and I don't care, I still love you. Like, it's just so good. It's so good. Like, every time I read it, I'm just like, oh. And it'll be cute things, but I'm still like cheering up. But yeah, that's Seasons of Lovesome. We also have new characters that are introduced. Like, this girl on the front, she wasn't in the last story, but she's in this story. Her name is Purim, and yeah, I can't wait to see more about her. and just seeing everybody. So good. So good. I recommend it. I recommend it. But also, if you read this one, Season Lovesome, you need to go back and read Seasons of Blossom first, because I don't think you could actually come to this without knowing the previous stories. Or can you? I don't recommend it. I think you should definitely read the first one first. And the art style is so cute. Look at them. Look at their little eyes. They're glimmering. They're shining. Gorgeous. Hair glistening. Anyways, moisturize. But yeah, I like this one. I look forward to whatever is gonna happen in the story. Because like I said, it just started pretty much. So now we're gonna get into, these will be the final webtoons, but the Remarried Empress. Anyways, we're getting into the Remarried Empress, and this year has been really good for the Remarried Empress, right? I honestly thought it was about to end. I was like, oh, I think we're coming to an end now. It seems like it's the end, because if we're closing a lot of the stories. So this year we kind of saw the end to the Trashta or Rashta arc. We saw her get her justice. All right, her I don't know, her whatever, her just desserts. That's what I'm trying to say. Her just desserts. She gets her just desserts. We see her in her demise. Very good, very tasty, very delicious. We see Heinrich and Navia growing closer. We also see Sovieshu, Navier's ex-husband, getting close. Not getting close, but like, you know, getting his comeuppance as well, or getting his just desserts, his punishment. A lot of justice is being done. Was done this year, and I loved all of it. I was like, yes. Like I remember it would hit every Sunday / Saturday night. I was like, oh, Remarried Empress is out, and I'd be like reading like, oh, mouth wide open, just like shocked. Like, you did. And so, yeah, this is really good. This webtoon has been going on for a minute, so if you're familiar with it, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, I guess I should give you a synopsis of what this is about. The Remarried Empress. Basically, this girl right here, her name is Navia. This is her new husband, Heinrich. So at the beginning of this story, I'm mentioning people y'all probably don't know, but Navia was married. She was the empress of the Eastern Empire, and she was married to Sovieshu. And literally we started where all of a sudden he gets a new mistress, and the mistress name is Rashta. And Rashta, she, you know, she was poor. I think she used to be a slave or not, but Sovieshu takes her to be his mistress and whatnot, and he basically starts taking Rashta's side over Navia's side, which is wild to me because Navia and Sovieshu, they grew up together. They're literally childhood friends. They grew up to become married. So for him to do all this stuff, not take like Navia's word, like, you should know her better than anybody. But basically, he comes up with this whole scheme. Rashta gets pregnant, so he's just like, well, I'm just gonna divorce Navia so that Rashta's kid can be a legitimate child of the empire and be the heir to the empire and whatnot, because he believes that Navia cannot have babies because when they were younger, they ate some cookies that were laced with I don't know, something to make them impotent, and so he's underneath. He has the belief that she is unable to produce children because he's like, it's been years and she hasn't produced any heirs. So he's just like, okay, I'll divorce Navia, then I'll marry Rashta so we can have an heir to the empire. And he was like, later on, he was just like, she's an empress. They're not known for remarrying. So basically, I'm just going to put her to the side, have Rashta step up, and then, you know, once we have our baby, raise it, I'll clearly, I guess, divorce Rashta and then marry Navia again, right? Navia is just like, absolutely not. She was like, you are not about to embarrass me. I do so much for this kingdom. I make sure that people are good. And so Heinrich, she has been interacting with this bird, this magical bird. And he comes in and he had like leaves his nose, and she's like, oh, I really like you, queen. Like, she names him very queen and everything. Turns out that bird is Heinrich. He's a magical bird man. I would coo, but I can't make croo croo, whatever. Anyways, so they end up falling in love. Like, basically, whenever Rashna makes a big deal out of something or does something to embarrass Navier in society or whatever, like, Heinrich's always there to, like, help Navier, like, to be the shoulder for her to lean on. And they grow close, and he's just like, I love you. I don't understand why Soyeshu is treating you like this. And so she's just like, when she's about to get divorced, she gets to Grand Prix. She's like, you know what? You know me my whole life. If we're going to get divorced, then I want to remarry. And the Grand Prix is just like, he sees all this. He knows both of them and everything. And he's like, yeah, Soyeshu's being messy. So yeah, I'm going to let you remarry. You can go ahead and remarry. I'll let you remarry this man. And Soyeshu is shocked. He's like, what? The Empresses have never known to remarry. All this stuff, right? So she gets married to him. They have to sneak out of the kingdom because Soyeshu is on some BS. And yeah, they get married. And now, like, when they got married, I think it was just a Western kingdom. That's where Heinrich's from. But then he's just like, we're going to make this an empire too, baby. You're not just going to be a queen. You're going to be an empress again. And I know you have the skills because you have the history. You've done it before. You got the resume. Like, so yeah, then they announce, hey, we're about to become the Western Empire. So what's up? Like, and yeah, it's just all these twists and turns, but that's basically the whole thing why it's called Remarried Empress. So, and it's just when Navier, like, you also see, like, she starts to open her heart up to Heinrich because Soviets just saw her as cold. People kind of consider her to be like a cold empress or whatnot, but she was just trying to keep decorum as an empress. Like, she's not really supposed to show her emotions and things like that. And because, you know, she don't want to come off as weak. So with Heinrich, like, you could tell she's so in love. Like, she started to open up her heart to him and whatnot. And, like, she just becomes a lot more softer being with him because he allows her to do that, you know? Very good story. I feel like it might be coming to an end soon. I'm not sure because now more things are happening and I'm like, what? But the whole Rashta arc is done with. And it was amazing. It happened this year. Yeah, basically they found out that Rashta was sneaky. The people were against her. They're like, she's a terrible empress. She spread all these lies and did these things. Like, they're just like, wait, she's actually a slave. So she's not like the people that she tried to lie and say were her family or her parents. Like, those weren't her actual parents. Like, everybody, you conspired against the empire, treason. Yeah, she was locked up. Locked up. She's gonna take the heat though, so you know, she had to go. Yeah, so that's Remarried Empress. Once again, another one I recommend. I mean, clearly I recommend everything that I'm talking about. So, if it's on this list, I recommend it. I'm gonna keep telling y'all that I recommend it though, just in case you forget. But yeah, Remarried Empress is that girl. It's one of them. Get to it. Yeah. Alright, the next webtoon is Couple Breaker. So, remember I told y'all about Sisters at War, and how Mangeki also created another webtoon that I'm going to talk about? This is it. Couple Breaker. Couple Breaker, actually it just completed, but I loved it. Couple Breaker is basically about these couples that go on a reality dating show, and the show is called Couple Breaker, and the whole point is to see if the couples can withstand all the things that reality dating that the show puts them through. So literally you get points in the show. You get points for interacting with somebody from the opposite sex of another couple. So if you interact with your couple or with your partner too much, you lose points. But if you interact with somebody else's significant other, you gain points. So this girl right here, this is Taryn. Taryn and Yoonsik. Actually, I'm gonna let's. All right. Beginning of the webtoon starts. We have Taryn. She has a boyfriend, Youngmo, And then you have Jua, who was a girl that used to be a pop star, and then her boyfriend, Yusik. And basically, in these relationships, Taryn is a trendsetter. She's stylish. She always like styles Guangmo or whatever, and he's kind of like a model for her, but like she pretty much dresses him and makes him look good. And they have a big social media following and whatnot. And they both like, Terrence thinks like she wants to make a store. So she's like, oh, we need money to get a store and whatnot. And Yumo, he is a terrible person that just wants money. Terrible person. And so he wants money and popularity and fame, and he doesn't care who he has to sacrifice to get it. So he basically is an insecure person, and he wants to go on the show to show like how popular they are. He's like, we can win this show. And then Terrence is like, I don't know if I want to go on that show. You know? So then Jua and Yusik, their relationship, like I said, Jua used to be a pop star. She used to be a singer. She has a sweet voice, like a childhood star or something. But she's kind of insecure about her looks and her voice and things. And then Yusik, he loves her no matter what. He builds her up. He's just like, I think they do busking together, and he just supports her. And he's like, you're a great person. Like, why are you so insecure? Like, I love you no matter what. Was always supportive of her. So, Jua and Youngmo, both insecure people. The insecure people who want popularity and fame, they end up hooking up and basically cheating on their partners, okay? They cheat on their partners. And then they start dating without breaking up with their partners. And I think, like, eventually they find out because they both, Jua and Youngmo, decide to be on that show. Youngmo's like, let's be on this show. Like, you'll be good for it. And stuff. And I feel like that's how they find out. That's how they find out that they broke up with them. And they're like, what? Like, you and Tara, they're crushed. They're like, what is going on here? And also, Taryn and Yusik, they're next door neighbors, and they kind of don't like each other. They're just like, ugh, this girl's bringing her trash. Like, complain about each other. But then they form a plan, and they're like, these two broke our hearts, broke up with us, they cheated on us, broke up with us, didn't really tell us they broke up with us. So we're going to go on this show, too. We're going to be a fake couple. We're going to go on Couple Breakers, and we're going to get our revenge on them on this show. While they're on the show, there are other couples as well. But the gist of it is a fake relationship to a real relationship. And that is the trope. And that is why I'm eating it up. Delicious. It was good. Okay. I cried a couple of times. I feel like I'm always crying when I read Webtoons. But that's whatever. I'm just an emotional person. It was so good. Like how they started slowly like falling for each other. The ending was sweet. It's also not that long, and once again, it's about making key. Like, that girl be eating. I don't know. She be on something because the stories, good. And also, I feel like this is because there's another webtoon out too that's like it's kind of like a reality love dating show thing, and I kind of like it because I like I like watching reality dating shows. So a webtoon about being on a reality dating show, yeah. That's my cup of tea. I'm sipping it. Delicious. Like, yeah, I'm reading that. It was good. Taryn is stylish, very confident. Yusik is a reassuring partner, and he's also hot. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing is just like you're getting all this money, and she wants to get money for her shop, and it's good. It's really good. It really tests, the show will really test people's relationship. Because there's also a couple that was in the show. There were like two other couples. There's a couple on the show. They were dating longer than anybody on the show and stuff. And they ended up breaking up. They were like, we were planning to get married, all this and stuff. And they ended up breaking up and ending it with each other. So, but this was a good webtoon. I definitely support it. It is also not that long. It's now just is completed. I said no. I think I fast passed the last 2 episodes, so it'll be completed maybe like in 2 weeks. But it's good. I recommend it. Couple Breaker, short and sweet, not that long. Great. Now we're gonna get into the Key Sisters. This right here. Now, when this came out, this was recommended to me by Modi, and she was like, "Oh, I really like this one too." And I read some of it, and I was just like, by the description, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is interesting." I read some of it and I was like, okay. I don't know, I think I just read the first chapter and I kind of like fell off a bit. But then that meme or that Queen Never Cry with the baby came out. And then I was like, why does this look so familiar? And it was like, it was from this. It was from this. I started reading it more heavily. And this webtoon is hilarious, okay? I laugh so much every freaking episode, every time I read, because it is so outlandish. The things that they do, the way that their faces are formed on the screen, how they draw their faces, it's so dramatic. Everything's so dramatic, but it's like dramedy? Like dramatic comedy? I don't know, it's intense. And that's basically what it is, about these intense families. So yeah, the key sisters, this is Jenny, who like loves and everything, who likes love and everything. She has her 3 sisters, and they are all so extreme in their own way, but they're kind of intense. So basically Jenny's like, I want to go to a regular school because they're all being homeschooled. You got the older sister who's just like, I make this a home. She's so strict. She's just like, you're not allowed to have any boyfriends. Like, what are you talking about? And then you have the second oldest, who she, well, is she the second oldest? I don't know. But she's kind of like a perfectionist. So she's just like, I have to do everything perfectly. And she does. And it's very good. She's just like, I'll be the one to take her to school, to take her to her parent-teacher conference. And then you have J-Rum, I think. That's the sister. She has glasses. She is insane. Like, I think like one time she was like, oh, she had to take somebody home and they had a motorcycle and they're like, oh, Jam will drive. And they're just like, oh, I didn't know Jam had her license. And she was like, she doesn't have her license. She just be doing crazy shit. It's like on a motorcycle. The faces they make. This webtoon is funny AF. It's so freaking funny. Like, I'm laughing. I'm guffawing every time I read this. So good. Okay? Recommend it. And then also, but oh yeah, going back. So it's like, you have this, the Key Sisters, and then you have like, she likes this boy at school who she came across, and he also is intense. But they're like intense, like sassy. They're just like, he's just like, well, I don't want to bring attention to myself. And his brother's just like, what? When I went to school, I had the whole school walking like me. Like, what are you doing? He was just like, attitude, 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 attitude. Like, I need you. You always lack an attitude. Like, get it together. Like, step in line. But it's, so like there is like 2 intense families, and it's good. Also, we just got, as I was reading recently, we're introduced to another family who's be childhood friends with the guy, the male lead. And this is the one, her name is like Lola Queen. So she's the one that's like, Queen Never Cried. Like, that's her family. So I'm excited to see that because they're all outlandish. All of the characters are outlandish. It is so freaking funny. It's just, and I think it's like so funny because it's juxtaposed. There is a comparison. I feel like I'm getting this word wrong. So like, the comparison between the art style that is like so intense and so elegant, and with what the things they do and how they're so outlandish, because there's so many details within this art style, right? It's kind of like JoJo, how it's like heavily stylized, and then it's just the buffoonery of it all. It's good. I recommend this. The Key Sisters, okay? The Key Sisters by Yuki King. My gosh, I'd be laughing so hard every time I read it. Yeah. And the last webtoon that I'm going to discuss from 2024 that I absolutely adored is Marionetta. I'm a marionette, round and round. This ABBA. Anyways, Marionetta. So this story, if you read webtoons like me, do you recognize this style? This is by the same person that did Huki, Miriam Bonastrateur. I love her style. I love the way she writes, the way she draws. Anyways, so Marionetta is basically about these people that are a traveling circus, except their souls are tied to the circus. Yeah, creepy, right? Basically, to be a part of the circus, you have to die. That's a weird way to sum this up, but yeah, that's basically it. But anyways, okay, so Julia, this is Julia. She's the main character. She's someone who was very by the book, follows whatever her government wants, follows all the rules, strict rule follower. And then like she has her best friend Camille. Camille and Julia go to the circus one day, and then basically Camille decides, oh, I'm gonna say the circus because she falls in love with somebody at the circus. And so Camille is just like, yeah, I'll give up my life to be a part of the circus. I don't care. Because she was like, I don't like my life anyway. Because the government is very much a patriarchy. It's just like women need to be at home cooking, cleaning, sewing. They need to get married by a certain age. Or there's other stuff. They're very strict about that. And then men are like, the men work and they're soldiers and whatnot. And Julia's mom is a soldier. So Camille is just like, F that. I do not want to get married to this man that I do not know. So Camille is like, I will be a part of the circus. I don't care. I will gladly give my life to y'all. But the thing is, to be a part of the circus, like I said, you have to give your life. You basically sign a contract where you're just like, okay, I give my life to the circus and whatnot. And on a country to be a part of it. But the thing is, like, because you are literally tied to the circus, so they started to realize, if I go past, like, say this is the circus, right? I don't know, whatever, this is the circus, there's a certain perimeter you have to stay in. If you try to go outside of it, you're like, there's like a chain on your neck, the string that's attached you to the circus that you can't escape it. It's like you're Marionetta. And so anyways, but Julia goes to find Camille because she's like, what is Camille doing? And she ends up signing her life to the circus too. And so, in Julia's sake, she has a year to kill the ringleader. And if she doesn't kill the ringleader within a year, then she actually dies. So everybody else, like Camille and all the other people, they pretty much can continue living forever and ever and ever, being a part of this circus, and they won't die until they're ready to be like, okay, I'm actually ready to like actually fully, you know, kick the bucket. Julia, her time is finite. She has a year to obey the contract, or, you know, she's actually going for good. So, and this is Sahed. He has 3 eyes, and he's hot. He has 3 eyes, he's hot. He, the whole thing with this is like, this is, this government, Julia learns about a government that she adores. She's like, oh, my government, I'm so proud of my country. They're tyrants, they inflict pain on people, like, so he, like, they have 3-eyed, like I said, he's a part of, I didn't say this, but he has 3 eyes, but he's a part of this group of 3-eyed people, and they are pretty much like an ostracized group. The government enslaves them or imprisons them and locks them away. I think they're called Calgredi. I'm not sure. And everything, and they kind of use them to enact, like, to use their magic, because they have ways of using magical seals that other people can't do. And so they kind of use them to use their seals to better the environment, but at the sake of like their people. So it's just like the people are in prison. And so he's like free here with the circus and whatnot, but he's very much like, I want to bring down this government. And he's just like, will you help me, Julia? And Julia is someone, like I said, she's by the book. So she didn't realize that her government was doing all of these evil things to these people. Like, she saw him, she was like, oh God, he's like, she believed all the propaganda. And she's like, he's one of the 3-eyed people, like, oh, they're terrible people, all this other stuff. She doesn't know anything, like, nothing of the world, girl. And, so, yeah, the art is really good. It's a good message of, like, find out about your government, don't just blindly follow, like, what the government says. So I agree. And the art is so good. I love Miriam's stories, like Hookie. I really like that. If you don't know about Hookie, you need to find out. It's about these 2 twin siblings that missed the bus. And it was funny, there was a reference to that in Marionetta, because I think they missed the bus too. I'm like, dang, everybody's always missing the bus in your story. It's like, what is this about? Did you miss the bus one time? But yeah, so this was the final webtoon, and like I said, I recommend all of these webtoons. Also, This Webtoons here. Yeah. Yeah. All of this. I recommend it. These are complete, ongoing, about to be complete, ongoing, and ongoing. So, yeah, get to reading because these are good. Hurry before. Actually, I think a lot of them are already on Pets Best. It's okay. It's fine. But yeah, I recommend all of these. Yay. Thank you for watching my 2024 year review for Webtoons. I'll see you in the next video. Yay!